November 2nd, 2007, Perugia, Italy. A 21-year-old British student is found dead in her bedroom. Her throat is cut. The room shows signs of a struggle, and a window is shattered. Within days, her American roommate Amanda Knox is arrested. So is Knox's boyfriend, Rafael Solicito. Another man, Rudy Gade, is later linked to the scene through DNA. He denied killing her. More than 15 years later, the case remains unresolved. On the morning of November 2nd, 2007, Meredith Kercher's body was discovered in an apartment she shared with Amanda Knox. She is found partially clothed, lying on the floor of her locked bedroom. Her throat has been cut. There are traces of blood throughout the apartment. One window is broken. Police describe it as a burglary gone wrong. Amanda Knox tells police that she spent the night at her boyfriend Rafael Solicito's apartment. Solicito confirms this. Investigators note discrepancies between early and later statements. Knox signs a statement saying that she was in the house when Meredith was attacked. She names her boss, Patrick Lumumba, as the killer. Lumumba is arrested. His alibi is confirmed by witnesses. He is released 2 weeks later. The record does not explain the false implication. Attention turns to another man, Rudy Gade. His DNA is found on and inside the victim's body. Prosecutors present their version of events. They claim Knox, Solicito, and Gade acted together in a violent assault. They describe the break-in as staged. This is presented as the official narrative. But from the beginning, it raised more questions than it answered. In 2008, Rudy Gade is tried separately in a fast-track proceeding. He is convicted of the sexual assault and murder of Meredith Kercher and sentenced to 30 years in prison. On appeal, the sentence is reduced to 16 years. The following year, Amanda Knox and Rafael Solicito stand trial together in Perugia. Prosecutors argue they assisted Gade, staged the break-in, and participated in the killing. Prosecutors allege a sex-related motive. Both are convicted. Knox receives 26 years, Solicito receives 25.
Dichiara Knox, Amanda, Marie e Sollecito Raffaele colpevoli dei reati loro ascritti.
In 2011, the convictions are overturned on appeal. Judges cite weak evidence and unreliable forensic testing.
In nome del popolo italiano, la Corte di Assise di Appello di Perugia assolve entrambi gli imputati dai reati loro ascritti ai capi A, B, C e D per non aver commesso il...
In 2013, Italy's highest court annuls the acquittals and orders a retrial. Prosecutors return to the same theory. The record notes no significant new forensic evidence. In 2014, both are convicted again.
In nome del popolo italiano, la Corte d'Assise d'Appello di Firenze, nel procedimento penale contro Knox, Amanda, Marie, Sollecito Raffaele, ridetermina la pena inflitta a Knox, Amanda, Marie complessivamente in anni 28 e mesi 6 di reclusione.
In 2015, the Supreme Court of Cassazione overturns the convictions for the final time. The court cites grave investigative errors and a lack of proof placing Knox or Solicito at the scene. No further charges are brought. Rudy Gade is released in 2021 after serving 13 years.
I'm incredibly grateful for what has happened, for the justice I've received.
But what the court said versus what the evidence showed was never truly reconciled.
Our investigation reveals an incredible story of how police and a powerful prosecutor twisted the evidence to fit their theory of the crime.
Knox first says that she was at Solicito's apartment. Under questioning, she signs a statement placing herself in the house. She later retracts it, citing hours of interrogation without a lawyer.
And they continued to
put so much emphasis
e continuavano a mettere così tanta enfasi
on this message that I had received from
sul
Patrick.
messaggio che avevo ricevuto da Patrick.
And so
E quindi
I almost was
io
convinced
quasi
that I had
ero
met him.
convinta che l'avevo incontrato.
Police describe her confession as voluntary, but there are no recordings of the interview. The only record is a typed summary prepared by officers. In that statement, Knox names her boss, Patrick Lumumba, as the killer. He is arrested, his alibi is confirmed by multiple witnesses. He is released after 2 weeks. His false implication raises questions about the reliability of Knox's statement. Solicito first confirms Knox's alibi. Later, he tells police he is not certain that she was with him the entire night. Investigators say the break-in was staged. They point to glass from the shattered window resting on top of scattered items in the room. Defense experts argue the entry could have been genuine. Prosecutors maintain it was faked. Witnesses describe Knox's behavior after the murder in conflicting ways. Some say she laughed and performed cartwheels, others recall her as disoriented and in shock. Rudy Gade admits he was in the house. He never directly implicates Knox or Solicito. But the contradictions, both physical and personal, were only just beginning. Prosecutors identify a kitchen knife from Rafael Solicito's apartment as the murder weapon. Amanda Knox's DNA is on the handle. A low-level trace near the blade is later disputed for contamination risk. Experts also note the knife does not match one of the wounds on Ketch's neck. No fingerprints from Knox or Solicito are found in the victim's bedroom. No blood, hair, or bodily fluids link them to the scene. A bra clasp recovered from the room is presented as evidence against Solicito. It is collected 46 days after the murder.
There is nothing in that room, out of all those 400 samples, that places Amanda or Rafael in that room. You can't go into a room and selectively just clean up your DNA and leave everybody else's DNA there. It's impossible.
Independent experts question whether it was contaminated. By contrast, Rudy Gade's DNA is found on Meredith's body and her clothing. His bloody shoe print is left at the crime scene. His fingerprints are discovered on her purse. Mixed DNA samples said to include Knox's profile are later judged too degraded for reliable results. Experts note the only complete DNA profile from the bedroom belongs to Gade. But if that's true, it raises a different question. Why weren't others ruled out sooner? Amanda Knox says she spent the night of November 1st at Rafael Solicito's apartment. Solicito first confirms this. Later, he tells police he is not certain when she left or returned. Records show that both phones were inactive during key hours. They are turned back on around the same time the next morning. Rudy Gade admits to being in the house. His account places him in the bathroom during the attack before he fled. A neighbor reports hearing a scream around 11:30 p.m. Another witness, a homeless man, says he saw Knox near the house that night. His testimony is later changed for inconsistencies. The timeline begins to split, and some pieces go missing entirely. The hard drives from Amanda Knox's and Rafael Solicito's computers are damaged during forensic analysis. Complete data recovery is declared impossible. Phone records from key hours on the night of the murder shows unexplained gaps. Incoming and outgoing activity is missing during the critical window. Surveillance footage from a nearby parking garage is recorded over before investigators retrieve it. Several early photographs of the crime scene are lost. Others are blurred or improperly documented. Blood samples collected from the scene are not fully tested before degrading. Some are stored improperly. The knife could not be retested due to prior cleaning. Early reports also mention a second possible weapon, a smaller knife, and it was never found. The missing evidence left room for theory and little room for certainty. The Knox case was not the first time Italy's justice system came under scrutiny. Courts in the country have long been criticized for prolonged trials and overturned convictions. In Sejdovic v. Italy 2006, the European Court of Human Rights found that a criminal trial violated the right to a fair hearing due to excessive length. In the Monster of Florence investigation, authorities pursued multiple suspects over decades. None were conclusively linked to the murders. Critics describe the case as driven more by narrative than by evidence. Wrongful convictions in Italy have often involved disputed forensic methods. Experts point to a pattern of over-reliance on ambiguous DNA matches. In 1991, 2 men were convicted of murder in Perugia based on circumstantial evidence. They were later exonerated. That case also featured conflicting testimony, a broken timeline, and heavy public pressure. Independent reviews of Italian trials describe recurring problems, extended pre-trial detention, media-driven narratives, and inconsistent use of forensic standards. The Knox case didn't break the pattern, but repeated it. No official explanation has ever been given for how the crime scene was secured. The full digital records from Knox's and Solicito's devices remain unrecovered. What was on them that night remains unknown. The timeline presented by prosecutors changed multiple times. No version has ever accounted for all of the physical evidence. The knife, said to be the murder weapon, is still contested. Its connection to the crime remains unresolved. Patrick Lumumba was falsely accused and detained for nearly 2 weeks. No inquiry has ever been made into how that mistake occurred. Rudy Gade served 13 years. He says he did not act alone. No one else has ever been charged. More than 15 years later, what happened that night and who was there remains unanswered.